Sweetie? Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I am your host, John Harris, and on my right-hand side is my right-hand man, Gabe Zababes, who's going to be our assistant engineer today.
How you doing?
Right now I'm being joined by Terrence to share some stories about the music and share more info about Nightwell. So, Terrence, welcome to the show.
What's going on, John? Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely great to have you on. A super big honor. And I was just thinking back that Taylor sent me a message, it feels like forever ago, saying, hey, we've got this up-and-coming band called Nightwell, and I can't remember what track was just released at that point. We've got to be like February or March at this point.
Yeah, that was just the Confident release right at the beginning.
Okay, and which we'll get to in a moment here, and I remember listening to it and going, man, this is a band that's going to go somewhere. I would love to have a chance to chat with these guys, and so, you know, it truly is an honor to have you on.
Well, thank you very much, man. We're really pumped to be here.
Yeah.
When I say we, I mean me, because everyone else is isolated, but you know.
Beautiful. Medicate, which just explodes. It opens up. It's got everything that you ever want in a song, I think, in a rock song anyway. It sounds like you're just banging away on the drums. And I just... particular compliment. I love what you're doing on the record, if that is you on the record.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. It's like you know to be a drummer, like you know there's a song there.
I have done some hitting of stuff a couple times, yeah.
Beautiful. All right, now, Medicate, which just opens right up, lots of layers. I love the sonic texture and soundscape of the entire album, but with this track, Medicate, what is this track about? And I guess part of my questioning is it's such a high energy track. And when I think of the word medicate, I don't normally think of high energy.
So basically, I'll take it back to like the songwriting aspect. We kind of just had some riffs together for like a few different song ideas. We sat down with Sam Guyana in studio and kind of started piecing together some stuff, and Medicate was one of the songs that came together from that. The big thing that we like about that is like the choruses are super high and hopeful and lots of energy going into them, but the verses are like very drawn back. You can feel like the emotion buried in there and stuff. And basically what comes down to lyrically is Jason at one point in his life, he was using weed to like cope with a lot of outside problems that he was having and everything, and it was kind of like impeding his ability to want to work on stuff that was actually productive for his life. So the lyrics of the song are basically a deep dive into Jason's brain during that point in time, where he's got all this positivity and stuff that he wants to go through, which you feel come through in the chorus, but it's also like he's feeling stuck and trapped and just medicating. So we kind of tried to blend together the two types of positive as well as dark, and yeah.
Well, and I mean, you know, props to him for powering through that and making the whole thing happen. I know for a lot of us musicians out there, part of what drives us is exactly that, and thankfully it wasn't anything more serious. I mean, it's like Russell Brand says, an addiction is addiction. It doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
You know, but thankfully it wasn't like black tar heroin or something.
Yes, that would be a very big problem.
Beautiful. Now, I guess my next question is that something that extrapolates to the entire record, or, you know, does each song sort of just tell its own story?
Each song kind of has its own story. So, for example, one thing that we actually ended up doing, it wasn't completely intentional at the beginning, but it kind of worked out for the best this way. But the whole record is like telling a story of instrumentally us growing up, and vocally the same thing for Jason, him growing up in the different paths that he had to choose and life stories that he had to get through and everything. And then we flipped it into reverse. So basically the last song on the record is early on in his life, and then the first song on the record is more towards now.
Wow. So like working your way backwards, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. So like it all kind of relates back to Jason's life, but it's not telling one exact specific story.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm looking at the album, it makes a serious amount of sense that the first track on the album is called Confident, and the last track on the album, well, I don't know what Ball in a Box means, but the Medicate part.
You want? Ball in a Box is like an analogy for grief. That song's about Jason's dad passing. He passed away before he was born, so he kind of had to grow up without a dad. But Ball in a Box is basically an analogy for grief. It's like there's a box, you've got a ball in it, and at the beginning of the grief, it's a massive ball, and there's a buzzer on the side of the wall. The ball keeps pushing the buzzer, and you just feel this crazy amount of grief. But as time goes on, the ball it just gets smaller. And as time goes on, that ball hits the buzzer way less often, but when it hits it, it still hits it hard.
Yeah. It would have more momentum behind it.
Yeah.
A physics lesson here on the Rock Metal Podcast.
This isn't a science podcast?
It's totally a science podcast. By rock, we mean igneous. Yes. And by metal, we mean phosphorus. All right. Exactly. Beautiful. Well, I mean, the interesting thing is that, because obviously I've got my son here, and then we have his little sister is going to be joining us. She's going to be making Earth entry here in about a month or so. And awesome. Yeah. And
she's upside down right now.
She's upside down. She's prepared. Her rocket thrusters have successfully rotated her to, it's crazy. Life on its own is science fiction, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Humans growing inside of humans, and it's just normal. And the whole start upright and then magically twist around without hopefully dying.
The goal,
yeah. To prepare for... It would make more sense, to just start out upside down, but whatever. Not my deal. I just live here, man.
Yeah, just one day at a time.
One day at a time. But I kind of always wonder, man, oh man, of all the things that can happen in the course of the 9 months, it's phenomenal. And to have that gratitude that, well, thankfully I am here, for these kids. And, what a unfortunate series of events that Jason had to go through.
Yeah, well, at least they got some cool parents to help them through everything, and congratulations on the newborn. That's going to be sweet for you. I'm very excited.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right, now, I don't think I have any other questions about Medicate in particular, so let's go ahead and listen to the next track, Confident.
Confident! Da, da, da.
Track Confident, which opens up the album, and as you had also mentioned, because the story kind of goes backwards, this is grown-up Jason. He's confident. He's ready to rock and roll. He's in Nightwell. Things are beautiful. And then going back to the comment about the soundscapes, number one, whoever's playing the guitar, that Telecaster, at least in the music video, gorgeous guitar. I love just staring at the fretboard because it's shiny.
It's very
and the tone and the riff and everything is just very well done.
Yeah, that's our Cole Hardy. He is a wizard behind the guitar. He's got some alien fingers. I don't know how he plays some of the riffs that he does, but makes it work, and he's sick.
Yeah, groovy.
He definitely he's got a metal background, so he's used to riffing around the neck.
Okay, I was going to say the guitar tone seems oddly reminiscent of something that would more than likely show up on one of those newer progressive metal albums, like Animals as Leaders or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, something that's a little interesting about us is not many of us listen to like pop punk kind of bands and stuff, for example. Most of us listen to a lot heavier music than what we play, which it definitely comes out in some of the riffs and stuff. But yeah, we definitely, for the most part, have a very heavy background.
Wow. Very cool. You guys are very confident in what you do. Now,
trying our best to be.
Now, I mean, I guess you may have already chatted a bit about the concept behind Confident, but maybe touch base on it a bit more. What is this track about? Or maybe if something's more interesting as far as the drums are concerned, let us know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we wanted this song to be something that just kind of punches you in the gut, which definitely comes through in the bridge of the song. It is the most recent song that we'd written as a group. We started writing this record back in 2015, Cole and I, and it was more of just like a pastime at that point in time. And then 2017, we started getting some stuff together. But Medicate and Confident specifically were the two most recent songs. We just wrote those last spring. And we wanted it to be more along a straightforward rock path than some of the more previous stuff, which had a little bit more of an emo vibe. So the drums are very straightforward, punchy, a couple cool fills to keep you interested in everything, but like the drum pattern in the chorus is just straight kick, straight snare. Like it's very simple, good, and easy to go. But yeah, in terms of storyline, Jason wrote this song vocally in studio, and everything that he had, he kind of just improv'd on the spot, which is amazing, because basically 90% of what you hear on that song is Jason's improvised attempt at what he thought the vocals and the lyrics should be. He had like a general idea of what he wanted the lyrics to be about. It's more about like confidence and lack of at the same time, and the different places your brain can take you, where you're doing well in your life and you've got a lot going on, but you're trying to stay focused and stay confident, but there's also a bunch of other things on the side that are just like digging into you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, it sounds a lot like life every time you try to get ahead. You're speaking about those laws of physics here on the Science Podcast. Emotional energy also follows the laws of physics, and therefore you can start to attract things that are both good and both bad, and, you know.
Yep, yeah, for sure.
Test that confidence. Now, if you dug the track Confident, you want to check out the music video, you can do so by going to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. And if you dug the two tracks Medicate and Confident, then you'll be super excited to know that on April 3rd came a full album called Nightwell. I guess my question musically is, Terrence, these two tracks, Medicate and Confident, they seem like different songs almost. So is this what we should expect from the record?
Yeah, there's a lot of variety in our music. Like I said, we started writing back in 2015, so we've got a lot of ideas that were coming to fruition when we were in our early 20s. And then like for example, tracks like Runaway, that was the first song that Cole and I had written together back in 2015, and it definitely comes through. You can definitely hear it, but at the same time, it flows very well with the new songs that we wrote just last spring. It's crazy how it works like that, but it's like 4 years of songwriting, and it's all very different, but it's all similar at the same time. But yeah, it definitely takes you through a range of emotion, and we tried to touch on some stuff that is a little different than a lot of bands out right now. But like I said, we have a lot of influences from different places and stuff, so like we still pull from like hip-hop vibes like Brockhampton and stuff, and then we'll pull from like the old school from First to Last and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place. Cool.
Now, from what I gathered with regard to putting an album together to still make it sound cohesive, is that different members of the band showed up at various points in time and writing songs for the last 4 or 5 years, and then coming together, writing songs across that time spectrum. Was there a certain point at which you guys nailed in on the Nightwell sound, or would you say that over the last 4 or 5 years it's evolved and is still evolving, but then how did that translate to a cohesive album?
It has evolved and is still evolving, but honestly, with the addition of Kyle, a lot of the songs started to piece together much more cohesively. Cole and I had a lot of cool ideas, and the songs that we had great structure and everything, but Kyle is a music engineer and he is a producer, so that's something that definitely plays to our benefit, and his strength is structure and songwriting and stuff like that. So when he came in, we were still working on putting the first few songs together. We wrote a couple more songs with him, put everything together, changed the structures around. And then when we moved forward, we had Jason join the band, and vocally he just changed the whole vibe of the band, like for the best way possible. We were very slow and sullen sounding, just like kind of depressing before, and then he came in with these huge, powerful vocals, and just like changed the game completely. And I love it. I couldn't have asked for anything better, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, you guys were just about to be off the rocker there, and then
yeah. He's got something crazy of a voice going on behind him. Those high notes and stuff, man. It's like, what the hell? But yeah, so Jason joined, and then the first two songs that we wrote with him, like where the instrumentals weren't already finished, was Confident and Medicate. And we definitely took on a more pop and rock approach to those, and I think that's going to be something that we follow through with moving forward. I feel, as well as I believe the rest of the guys feel, that those are two of our strongest songs, and we're still going to pull like the influences from like the Dance Gavin dances and stuff like that. But yeah, moving forward, we're going to definitely try and have a little more pop and rock influence. Keep the song structure nice and clean.
Cool. Clean cut.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since there isn't really a whole lot going on in the music industry world at the moment, normally I'd be asking about all those festivals and tours you'd be going on, but instead, is there maybe any other kind of news that you wanted to chat about? Maybe something unique that you guys are doing with what's going on?
I mean, we have been participating in something called Doomfest, for example. We're trying to do like online live performances and stuff. Like, we'll do some pre-recorded stuff here, videotape it, piece it together with the video and everything, and then put up like a full clip, like we did for our album release show. We did it online because we had to cancel our actual album release show. And we're doing something that we are just starting working on now. We have some covers that we're going to be posting in a similar fashion, where we're going to do like a social media based YouTube cover kind of thing. It's not going to be anything on Spotify or anything like that, just like some content, some fun stuff to keep us busy. We're going to be posting it on YouTube or Instagram. I'm not really sure yet, but we've got a few of those. There's a couple more live streams that are going to be coming with some great artists, which, no spoilers, you'll have to wait and see. And yeah, once this all finishes up, I mean, we have some stuff booked, but it's looking like it's going to have to get pushed again, which is unfortunate, but we're just trying to stay positive and keep our headspace nice and clean.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Terrence, just wanted to thank you for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast.
Well, dude, thank you very much for having us, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day.